So last year, we went out to Moab. We're riding some of the trails in the area, and this day we decided to go down to Elephant Hill Trail, which is in Canyonlands National Park. Right away you could see this trail was going to be interesting as we left the parking lot.
Bank, and then pull to your left, and then you can back up over in this other corner. So do opposite of what I did.
Doing opposite of what I did is always good advice.
Ooh-wee, this is tight.
Well, don't fall down on me.
That's more good advice. So we had already risen up about 100 feet from the parking lot. Pretty steep incline right at the beginning of the trail. And the trail has a lot of switchbacks in it across this hill. And the switchbacks are so close and tight that you can't make the turn. So they have these provided turnaround areas, which are not really large, but they are big enough to turn around on. So as Chris is turning around here, you'll hear his lunchbox locker he installed, tires barking on the rock. Makes a little scary sound. So you can look back out towards Moab in the distance down the valley, and the parking lot is straight down this cliff below us, 100 feet or so. Always good to have a spotter. So you can see the trail we came up that goes back down to the parking lot there. See how tight that turn is. And this shelf road is fairly narrow, very doable, but it's narrow. And get your heart beating right off the bat on this trail. It was definitely a pretty morning.
That was narrow. Good news is we have to go back down that. This is what they said. Is they said you get to the top right here, and it gives you a chance to reevaluate if you want to keep going.
Yeah, there was a bit of excitement in her voice right there at the beginning. Had to pulse racing a little bit. So although you're in a lot of rocks, it's got to remember you are in the desert. So if you decide to go on this trail, remember this is a permitted trail. You have to get a permit through the National Forest Service. They limit the amount of vehicles that can be out there. Most of this road is two-way for the first section, then it ties into a loop which is one direction. But if you go out there, be sure to take plenty of supplies, plenty of water. Always go with a friend. You wouldn't want to be back out here by yourself and get into a problem. I think all day we saw a total of 2 vehicles other than ourselves on this trail. Canyonlands National Park is much more beautiful than some of the other areas around Moab. The colors and rocks in Canyonlands is amazing. So Chris had just done a lot of work to this XJ. Changed the gears in it, put a locker in the rear. He is running an 8.8 Ford in this XJ, and so it's a fairly capable rig. We did trailer it out to Moab. It's just too far to drive those high gears on the highway out there. And that was a stop to put it in four-wheel drive there. I believe we're in low. Get in this section here, and it's amazing how large these rocks are that you drive between. Some of it gets a little tighter than others, but makes you feel small going through here. So we had stopped to take a few pictures, eat a sandwich, and I don't know exactly what we were saluting in these pictures, but we were saluting something. There was a good bit of sand between the rocky areas. Probably 20-30 minutes of sand driving to get back to this next section here. Obviously the camera doesn't do justice to the actual incline on some of these obstacles. You can see the layers in the rock to the right there that's more level. How much we're actually climbing up here. The XJ was getting it a good little workout on this day, really putting it to the test. Chris is running an open carrier in the front of the XJ, but it went everywhere that the Rubicon ahead of it went.
That's a big rock. Nowhere we can fall. There's a wall right there. We would bump up against it. Be like, oop.
Obviously Chris had picked up his spotter as his co-pilot. So like I said, Canyonlands is about 45 minutes to an hour south of Moab. It's a pretty good little drive to get down there, and there's no fuel down in that area. There's one little outpost that might be open. You can't count on it. So if you drive down from Moab, be sure to fill up on your way out. Wouldn't be a bad idea to carry at least a can with you if you're not getting really good fuel mileage on your Jeep.
It was all part of the plan. Just needed a couple inches that way. The tree would have stopped us.
So the park rangers had advised us that if you get back in here, to be sure you have a buddy with you, because if you break down, recovery fees back in this area for somebody to come get you, average cost around $2,000 for recovery. So you want to make sure your rig's in pretty good shape and carry plenty of supplies. While it was a bit technical in places, it's really nothing that a stock Jeep with a little lift, 33-inch tires maybe, can't handle. There was a tour guide company that ran in there, and they didn't run real radical. It's more about tire placement. So we're coming up to an area here that gets really narrow, and there's a chute up here that I think everybody that goes to Elephant Hill tends to stop and take a photo. And I'm not sure about a wide power wagon or something like that through this area. You can see how tight this.
I didn't even have to climb up on the wall at that last bit.
How tight this JKU is, hardtop is to the sides.
You're way right. There you go.
And his wall is way left.
Those places back in here where you forget about driving so much because you're looking at the scenery and the beauty of everything. And so these open areas through the sand like this, it gives you a chance to look around when you're not in a really technical spot. But Canyonlands is absolutely one of the most scenic places that we saw when we were out there in Moab. So right here on the right is where the trail splits from a two-way road to a one-way road. So the one-way that we're getting on now goes around, makes a loop, and comes back right there to that trail on the right. So it's a two-way in for more than halfway, and then you make the loop and come back out. And we had picked a really great day for this trip. Having a good time, and then, yep, the XJ sheared off some bolts in the steering box. Chris hit a hole or a rock, and it jerked it, popped those bolts off. So all we had was a ratchet strap, and we wrapped that strap around and around that steering box and cinched it down, and was taking it very easy getting it out of there. And when you'd steer to the right, the steering box would tend to lean up against the side of the frame, and it would turn to the right better. But when you turn to the left, it would pull away from the frame, thus the ratchet strap trying to hold it in place. So we didn't get a lot of video of us stacking rocks in front of the tires to make the Jeep turn different directions, because steering input through the power steering system was difficult at best. So I would move our Jeep up 300 or 400 feet and then go back and help him. So as we got right near the end of the trail, you can see the parking lot down below us there. As we got near the end, we got a little video again. And right along in here is Chris realized that the last bolt had finally gave way, and he knew something was up, so he got out to take a look at it and realized that that last bolt was giving way and the strap was the only thing left holding it now.
Bring that impact gun up here when you're ready. When you're got a stopping point. And you're back forward. 10-4.
You could hear the stress in his voice because he knew he had to come down the rest of the way here with literally no steering input from the steering wheel and power steering system. So he's trying to tighten the last bolt that had sheared. So when I get it parked, I get back up there and we start stacking, and we literally was not telling this Jeep where to go. We had to ask it where to go. And so we started easing down the last section of this, couple sections of this trail with very little input from the steering.
Good news is we have to go back down that.
Yep, that's what he said that morning. So Chris did a good job of driving. He had a great spotter, stacking rocks for him. So as we got down to this last turnaround, we got him turned around. We got down on the last section and the strap completely broke. So we wound up taking a tow strap. We didn't get video of this, but we took a tow strap, like a 20-foot long strap, and I tied loops in it to make two short straps basically. Hooked the strap from my right rear shackle to his left front shackle, my left rear to his right front shackle, created an X. And in order to keep that strap tight, Chris wound up having to ride the brake on his Jeep, and basically the straps would steer like a tow bar would steer his Jeep. So that's how we pulled that Jeep out of there. We got in the parking lot, got that rigged up, and we pulled that back to the park entrance so that we could get back to Moab and get our trailer and come back and pick this Jeep up. But all in all, it was a good day. We had to MacGyver our way out of there, but we didn't spend $2,000 either. And at the end of the day, we all went home safe. Thanks for watching.